The Galactic Council was in session. Hundreds of alien leaders sat around a glowing blue table. Voices echoed through the chamber, filled with laughter and confidence. They were talking about Earth, again. They are loud, emotional, and weak, one lizard-like senator said. Let them cry. They have no power. A round alien with silver eyes floated above his seat. They still refuse our trade laws. Humans are stubborn. We should punish them. Another voice added, cut off their fuel. Block their space routes. They will beg soon. The council agreed. Earth would face full sanctions. No trade, no travel, no communication. Then a human ambassador entered the room. He was tall, calm, and silent. His face was hard to read. You called us here, the ambassador said, so we came. Speak. One insectoid leader leaned forward. Humanity has broken council rules. You must obey or suffer. The human looked at them for a long moment. Then he spoke 2 short sentences. We request peace, but we will not ask twice. The room laughed. Some clapped. Others hissed in mockery. The ambassador didn't react. He simply turned and left the chamber without another word. That night, strange things began to happen. Satellites near the outer rim of the galaxy started going dark. Ships traveling near. Human space disappeared. Signals sent toward Earth were never returned. The Galactic Council assumed it was technical trouble. But a few intelligent voices started to worry. A young alien analyst noticed something strange in the data. Human activity was no longer visible. Their ships were not appearing on radar. Their colonies had gone quiet. Not a sound. Not a signal. She raised a report to her superior. I believe, she said, that the humans have turned off their lights. On purpose, her boss laughed. They are scared. Let them hide in the dark. But the analyst whispered to herself, no, they're not hiding. They're preparing. Far across the stars, inside the military core of Earth, human generals met in silence. A single message glowed on the giant screen. Permission to proceed. Granted. On the moon, deep under the surface, long-hidden machines woke from sleep. Giant warships, black as space, began to rise. They had no lights, no engines heard, no signals. Just silence and movement. From Mars, cyber fleets launched. AI systems took control of battle drones hidden in asteroid fields. Humanity was not going to speak again. They had already spoken. Now they would act. Meanwhile, the alien fleets kept laughing. A fleet of 30 advanced alien warships was sent near Jupiter to watch human movements. They thought they would find weak defense, maybe some Earth, ships begging for peace. Instead, they found nothing. Space was empty, cold, quiet. The fleet captain ordered a scan. No results, no threats, no activity. And then, they vanished. One moment they were there, 30 ships strong. The next, they were gone. No explosion, no trace, just silence. Back at the Galactic Council, panic began to creep in. We lost contact with our ships, a frog-like commander said. All 30 gone. Impossible, someone shouted. It's true, the analyst said. They were erased, no debris, no distress call, nothing. The council finally grew silent. For the first time in centuries, fear entered their hearts. Then, a signal came through. It was a human message, broadcast to every planet in the council. Just 6 words. This was your final warning. Goodbye. The message ended. No voice, no face. Just silence after that. Far in deep space, sensors detected something massive moving. A black human warship, the size of a moon, passed through the darkness. It had no name, no light, no sound. But on its side, painted in red, were the words, "For every promise broken." And so began the day humanity snapped, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The galaxy held its breath. After the disappearance of the alien fleet near Jupiter, the Galactic Council fell into chaos. No one could explain what happened. One moment, 30 ships were sending clear signals. The next moment, Nothing. No wreckage. No message. No answers. Leaders began to whisper in private meetings. Some believed the humans had created something new, something no one had ever seen before. Others still thought it was a trick, a technical issue, or a hidden natural danger in that part of space. But fear had started to grow. More reports came in. Trade routes near human colonies had gone dark. Merchant ships refused to fly near Earth's territory. Some alien captains had even turned their ships around mid-journey, refusing to follow orders. The council tried to calm the public. News networks were told to avoid using the word threat. Speeches were made, smiles were forced, but even the strongest races, those who ruled for centuries, could feel it. Something had changed. In a hidden chamber deep inside the council's main headquarters, high-ranking officers gathered. A massive screen showed a map of the galaxy. One of the alien generals tapped a glowing spot with his claw. This was the last known location of our fleet. Another alien, with wide crystal-like eyes, said, "We scanned the area again, still no signs. It's like they were removed. Or taken," someone whispered. A silence filled the room. They turned to a quiet figure standing in the corner, the same human ambassador who once warned them in a few simple words. He stood still, watching the screen. "You know something," one general said sharply. "Tell us what you've done." The ambassador slowly walked forward. "What we did is not important," he said. "What we're about to do should matter more." Before anyone could ask further, he placed a small black cube on the table. It lit up and showed one sentence: "Let the silence be your teacher." Then he left the room. Meanwhile, far across space, a group of new alien ships approached the outer border of Earth's territory. This time, they came carefully. No weapons charged, no open broadcasts. They just wanted to see what remained. They moved forward. They began to pick up strange signals. Not words, not music, just soft echoes, rhythms, almost like a heartbeat. The alien ship slowed down. Their scanners tried to make sense of it, but no answers came. Then, the signal suddenly stopped, and something else took its place. One by one, the alien ships lost control of their lights, then their engines, then their communication. Screens inside the ships began to flicker. Images appeared. Not human soldiers, not weapons. Instead, they showed history, pictures of ancient human cities, wars fought long ago, struggles, survival, unity. The final image showed Earth rising from ashes with one message underneath: "We asked for peace. You demanded silence. Now you will understand both." The alien crews sat in their ships, unable to move, unable to speak. The ships were gently turned around by forces unknown and slowly sent back toward their home planets. No damage, no loss, just a message delivered without words. Back on the homeworlds of those alien races, people gathered around screens. The returning ships were seen from orbit, floating peacefully. But the look in the eyes of the crew members was strange. They spoke softly, slowly, as if they had seen something too large to explain. One of them, an old pilot with gray skin and deep scars, simply said, "Do not go near Earth again. We were lucky." Inside Earth's command center, human leaders watched everything from afar. They didn't smile. They didn't celebrate. They simply observed. One commander turned to her team and said, "They still don't understand, but they will." A quiet agreement filled the room. The humans didn't raise their voices. They didn't make threats. Their silence was louder than any broadcast. Their actions were calm, precise, and clear. They had been patient long enough. And now the galaxy had to learn a new lesson. Humanity didn't need to shout to be heard. They only had to act. Once. It had been 3 days since the alien fleet returned, untouched but changed. The crews wouldn't speak of what they saw near Earth. Their faces were blank. Their voices were quiet. Many of them sat in silence for hours, staring into nothing. The Galactic Council demanded answers, but the captains gave the same reply. They did not stop us. They simply showed us everything. Leaders didn't know how to react. What? Had Earth shown them? What power had been used? There were no signs of weapons, no signs of machines. And yet, the alien fleets came back without will, without pride. Some said the humans used psychological tricks. Others believed it was advanced mind control. But a few began to whisper the truth. Maybe it wasn't a trick. Maybe they've changed. Across the galaxy, fear slowly turned into curiosity. Scholars and historians were ordered to study Earth's past. Files, records, and ancient stories were brought out, and what they found shocked them. Human history was filled with struggle. Not against other worlds, but against nature, against time, against themselves. For thousands of years, they fought disasters, rebuilt cities, learned from mistakes, and never gave up. Every time they fell, they rose higher. Their past was not perfect, but it was powerful. An old alien professor stood before his class and said, "They built strength not from control, but from survival. That is why they are different." The students were silent. Meanwhile, secret meetings continued. Leaders of powerful races gathered to decide their next move. Some still believed they could push Earth back. They had more planets, more ships, and more soldiers, but others shook their heads. "No," said one leader. "They have something we don't understand. Not weapons, not ships. It's something deeper." An elder who had once visited Earth during peaceful times finally spoke. "They listen, they learn, they wait, and then they act. Just once. And that is enough." His words fell over the room like a shadow. Back on Earth, things were quiet. No celebration, no warnings, just silence. Human citizens continued their work. Farms grew food, engineers repaired satellites, children went to school. But in orbit, human ships floated, calm, still, but watching, a peaceful sky with eyes open. Inside one human command room, a young officer asked, "Why don't we speak to them again?" The commander replied, "They had their chance to listen. Now they will listen without sound." Elsewhere in the galaxy, smaller alien colonies began to worry. Trade slowed, travel routes changed, fear was growing, not from attack but from the unknown. Then something strange happened. Messages from Earth began arriving, not in words, but in actions. A damaged alien ship near a distant star was rescued quietly by a human drone. It left behind tools and food. A small colony facing energy loss woke up to find a new power system installed overnight. No ship was seen. No humans were present. Only a small symbol was left behind. An open hand. Not a threat. A reminder. Slowly, a message began to take form across the stars. Humanity was not seeking control. Humanity was not demanding power. Humanity was showing that silence could teach louder than sound. The council finally gathered again. This time there was no laughter, no mocking, no loud voices, only questions. What do they want? Are they trying to lead us? Should we respond? And one old council member who had studied human art and music in his youth answered, "They don't want to lead. They want to live. And they want us to stop stepping on their voice." On Earth, under a quiet sky, the human ambassador watched the stars. He received a message from deep space, a message not in anger but in understanding. It read, "We didn't listen before. We will now." The ambassador smiled, not with pride but with peace. And for the first time in a long while the galaxy stood still, not because of fear, but because it was learning. The galaxy had fallen into an uneasy quiet. No battles, no threats, no announcements, but change was in the air, gentle, invisible, and unstoppable. Every species, every planet, every council member had begun to feel it. Something had shifted, not on the surface, but deep inside the way they thought about Earth, about humans and about power. In the past, strength meant size, numbers, noise, Now strength looked different. It moved like a shadow and spoke through silence, and it was teaching the galaxy a lesson it never expected. On a distant moon, a group of alien researchers had gathered around an old satellite. It had picked up a faint, strange signal from human space. Not a distress call, not a warning, just a pattern. Soft pulses, even beats, almost like a song. One of the researchers leaned closer. "It's repeating," she whispered. Another said, "It's not in any language." "No," said the oldest among them. "It is a language, just not the kind we use." He closed his eyes. "It's patience." In another system, a young alien student wrote a report titled, "The Power of Silence, Humanity's New Voice." It quickly spread across education circles, not because of facts, but because of the questions it asked. Why did humans step away from the council? Why did they stop talking? And what did it mean when the quiet ones started watching? Teachers began using the report as part of their lessons. Students who once laughed at Earth's history now read it with curiosity. One quote from the report became a whisper in many minds. Maybe silence isn't the absence of noise. Maybe it's the presence of choice. Across the stars, more signs began to appear, not of war, but of warning. Alien trading stations started finding small packages placed quietly at their doors. No sender, no message, only carefully selected items, rare medicines, clean water samples, advanced repair tools, and always, the same symbol burned into the surface, an open hand. Some believed it was a gift. Some saw it as a message. A few still called it a challenge. But no one could ignore it anymore. Back in Earth's orbit, something new was happening. A ship unlike any other had appeared. It was made of dark silver, smooth, quiet, and it did not shine in the stars. It simply was. It didn't broadcast its name. It didn't request entry. It only hovered near the edge of the solar system, watching. Inside, humans sat in silent rows, eyes focused forward. Not aggressive, not afraid, just ready. Ready for what? Even they didn't fully know. But they understood one thing. The galaxy was beginning to listen. Finally. And humans had nothing more to prove. The Galactic Council, now smaller and quieter, had held a closed meeting. No news. No media. Just the leaders. They debated for hours, but no decision was made. Then, at the final moment, the eldest member stood. He had lived through the rise and fall of empires. He had seen 1,000 ships built and broken. And he said one simple sentence. If a voice is ignored long enough, it learns to speak without sound. The room fell silent. No votes. No debates. Only silence. And for once, that was enough. On a quiet balcony on Earth, the human ambassador stood under the stars. Hands behind his back, he didn't smile. He didn't frown. He was simply waiting. Behind him, a young officer approached. "They're asking if we'll return to the council," she said. He nodded slowly. "And what did we say?" he asked. "We haven't said anything yet." He looked. To the stars. Good. Let them wait. Because now, the galaxy was learning something important. That peace doesn't always come from words. Sometimes it comes from knowing when not to speak. The silence across the galaxy was no longer empty. It was full of questions. Every planet, every race, every leader wondered the same thing. What was humanity truly preparing for? For decades, humans had been the quiet ones, listening, watching, learning. But now the galaxy saw the results of their patience, a calm that hid great strength, a presence that felt unstoppable without a sound. In the Galactic Council chambers, the mood had changed. Where once there was pride and laughter, now there was respect and caution. Several members spoke softly during meetings, debating what to do next. One young alien counselor, curious and nervous, said, "We used to think they were weak because they spoke loudly. But what if their power was in choosing not to speak?" An elder nodded slowly. "Perhaps silence is their language now. and we are only just learning to understand. Meanwhile, on a remote outpost near Earth's borders, a small alien team made a discovery. They had been tracking human signals, patterns of light and sound that did not match any known technology, at IRDO. First, it looked like random pulses, but as they watched longer, they realized the signals were not random at all. They were a code, not words, not threats, but a map of stars, a map of paths, a map of possibilities. One of the aliens whispered, "It's as if they are inviting us." Back on Earth, a quiet meeting took place. Human leaders and their closest allies gathered in a circle. No speeches, no orders, only shared understanding. A young officer looked around and asked, "When will we speak again?" An older commander smiled softly and said, "We don't need to speak to be heard." The room fell silent, but not with fear, with certainty. Far from Earth, a small alien ship approached slowly. Its captain held a device with the same open-hand symbol that had been seen across the galaxy. No weapons were drawn, no alarms raised. Instead, a calm message was sent to Earth. "We wish to understand." On Earth, the message was received. The ambassador replied, not with words, but with a gesture, a simple, open hand. Across the stars, a new chapter was beginning, not one of war or conquest, but of peace built on quiet strength. The galaxy had learned that sometimes the loudest power comes not from noise but from stillness. Humanity had not shouted to be noticed. They had only waited. And when the time was right, they spoke without words. The galaxy waited. After years of silence, questions, and quiet signals, the moment had come. A small human ship moved slowly through the vastness of space, not as a threat but as a promise. The ship carried no weapons. It carried no demands, only hope. On board, the humans were calm, focused, and ready. They had learned much through patience. They understood that power was not shown by force, but by trust. As the ship approached the Galactic Council's new meeting place, all eyes turned. Not with fear, but with curiosity. What would these quiet humans say? Would they finally speak? Inside the council chamber, representatives gathered. The air was filled with a strange energy, not tension but anticipation. The human ambassador stood and slowly raised his hand, not to command, not to warn, but to greet. A simple gesture. Then, a new voice echoed through the chamber, clear, calm, strong. Peace is not silence. It was not a threat. It was an invitation, an offer to build something better. The room was quiet again, but this time, the silence was filled with understanding. Leaders nodded, eyes met, old fears began to fade. The galaxy had learned an important truth. Strength was not always loud. Sometimes it was quiet. Sometimes it was patient. And sometimes it was a simple hand extended in peace. Outside, stars shone bright. A new chapter was beginning, not with war or fear, but with respect, trust, and the hope of a better future. Humanity had finally spoken, and the galaxy was ready to listen.